Good morning, folks. How are we doing? So Dongting, you posted a question in the sort of give me an update assignment last night where you were having trouble uh, with your code for the collage. Would you be willing to share your Jess in class? It's fine if you'd rather not, but if you'd be willing to, I think we might be able to help you and it would benefit other people as well.
Okay,
That'd be awesome.
so the issue I'm at is with this code, like the jest is processing, but after the processing, when I use the show function, it do not have any changes.
Oh, well, that actually would be interesting. And at least one other person, Zeke, who just joined, is having a problem where he can't show, if he calls show on the image that he generates, it doesn't work. And so I have a feeling maybe your problem and Zeke's problem are related. I could be wrong, but I think other people are having similar-ish problems. So I think that, looking at your code or looking at Zeke's code would be useful. If either or both of you are willing to do that, that would be great.
Okay.
So, so it's 9:15. We should go ahead and start. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. So going through the questions in the from the assignment last night, there are a couple of things that we definitely want to try to talk about. One is how to simply construct the thing you turn in for the collage assignment. I think that there are several people that were unclear on that. And so we definitely want to do that. There's a question that Sophie raised, but which I think is affecting other people. I think Juan had a similar issue about just the size of images and how can we make the images less big so that Jess handles them better. So I definitely want to talk about that. Then there's just a bunch of different questions that came up that are sort of scattered. There seem to be issues with like capturing and displaying pictures. So Dongting's got a question like that. Zeke had an issue where when he called show, he got an error that didn't make sense. And I feel like those are probably related. And there was some question about copying things from one place to another. A couple of people had questions still about how to copy parts of one picture into another picture. And so I'm hoping we can talk about all of that in the hour and 5 minutes that we have. Let me first, because I want to make sure we get to this because it affects everybody, I think. Let me first say something about resizing images and about building the solution set of materials, because I think both of these matter a lot and are, like I said, likely to affect lots of people. So let me first say something about resizing stuff. So most people, if you just take an image from, let's see, let me grab something as an example. If I just grab an image, and I'm not going to do all the switchy bit. Well, okay, I'll even do the switchy bit because then we can all see and it won't be quite as boring for you. So I've just gone into my Google Photos and I'm just going to grab a picture of our cat looking cute because, you know, who doesn't want pictures of cats? So I'm going to download this picture. So download the picture. Okay, so I've downloaded the picture. Now I'm going to have to change the sharing so you can see where I am. Stop share. change over to the other place. Preview, there we go. Okay, so now this is the image sort of open in preview, which is on a Mac, kind of the default super simple image viewing manipulation program. I think there's something similar in Windows, but I'll be honest, I'm a bit of a Windows idiot. I've never owned a Windows installation, and so I'm not very good at answering Windows questions, and a lot of you have Windows. So I'm hoping that one of you can tell me, tell all of us, what the sort of rough equivalent of preview is. Is there something in Windows that is sort of gives you real basic ability to view pictures and do very simple manipulations on them? Anybody? Save me, please. Please? Really?
Sorry, what was the question again?
Is there something in Windows that is sort of the super simple image viewing and manipulation program? Like that just comes with Windows, so everybody has it.
Yeah, there's like Paint.
So Paint will do, like, let you open pictures and do very simple manipulations on pictures?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. So in theory, everybody has Paint because that's just sort of part of Windows. And so I think you can do something similar in Paint. I don't know exactly how. And if somebody wants to like demo that in class for everyone, that'd be awesome because I'm on a Mac. But if somebody's got a Windows box and would be willing to like share Paint and show us sort of how you resize things, that would be spectacular. But if we take this picture and coming out of off my camera, can you see this little window that just popped up? I'm guessing no, but is there a little window with some information about the picture? Anybody?
Yeah.
Oh, there is. Awesome. So this little picture tells us that this image, or this little box tells us this image is 3,024 pixels tall and 4,032 pixels wide. That's really big for Jess. I mean, it's actually totally normal for modern phones. I suspect some of you have phones that take bigger pictures than this. Some of you probably have phones that take smaller pictures than this, but being in the thousands in both dimensions is pretty standard these days. But for Jess to process a picture that big is actually pretty slow, right? That would be about 12 million pixels that Jess has to process all of this. And that's going to be a lot. So what I tend to do for Jess is in this program, there's a tools menu and there's an adjust size option that when I choose that lets me say how big I want the picture to be. And so I usually go for something like 800 in the largest dimension. I find that that gives me a big enough picture that I can kind of see what I'm doing and that it's interesting and I can show it to other people and it's interesting. I can post it to Instagram and it still doesn't look stupid. And then whatever the smaller dimension, the program will figure that out. So in this case, when I changed the width to the big dimension to 800, it changed the small dimension to 600. And if I say, okay, oh, and actually it's worth pointing out, like right here, the original picture size was 4.7 megabytes. After I shrink it, it will drop to 117 kilobytes, which is a reduction of like 40 to 50 times smaller. So it's actually a lot smaller after I save this. And you can see that sort of, shrank it by rather a lot. It's not really that small. If I go to view full size, now that is the full size picture. That's what it would display in Jess. And I mean, you don't have any perspective because of the way Zoom's working, but that's the same size. Well, actually, that's about twice as big as what I've been posting on Canvas. I tend to, when I post them to Canvas, make them 400 in the large dimension because I think that fits better on a normal laptop-y screen as part of a post. But this size is actually quite reasonable to work with, and Jess will be able to get through it pretty quickly. And then I could save this and rename it to be like cat in basket. And then I can run Jess on that and get things. So that's sort of what I do using Preview on a Mac to make these things a little more manageable. If you've got a Windows box, I think you could do something similar with something like Paint. I don't know what that looks like. I can't sort of illustrate it. But if somebody wants to illustrate it now, or is willing to just be a guinea pig and like try to pull up Paint, and we can help them kind of figure out how to do it, then you would know what to do, right? It would put you in a good place as far as the assignment goes.
I can do that.
Can you do that? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. And if Henry, oh, I got to give you permission to share. Sorry. I think you should have permission to share now. Oh, and Joseph, you're having a sound issue. I only just saw the chat. Let me know if I can be of any help. So go ahead, Thomas, or Henry, right? So Henry, we're opening a picture. Yeah, we got Paint. Open a picture. I assume there's a dialog box that we can't see. Oh, there we are. Yep. Okay, and there's a picture, and then resize there. Oh, you want to? So you could select a part of it, but can you just oh, there we go. Oops. So yeah, you could change either the horizontal or the vertical, and that's by percentage or pixels. Most of these provide both of those options. So you could say, I want it to be 50% as big, or like I did, you can say, I want it to be 800 pixels wide, and then it will resize the picture, and then you can save it, and you should have a smaller image. So that's awesome. Thank you, Henry. I really appreciate that. And don't feel like you need to save the small version if you don't want to. That's up to you. So that was pretty quick. Do people feel like that was useful? Do people have questions about that? And I'm willing to bet resize pictures, Paint, Windows. Using MS Paint to resize an image. Yeah, so here I'll post a link in the chat. So for resizing images in Paint on Windows, that looks like that gives you sort of a short description of what Thomas just did. Oh, this looks like actually a better one. I'll share a second one here that has pictures. A better one with diagrams. And I think if you Google, you can pretty easily fish up something similar for Preview on Mac OS. Preview Mac OS. Yeah. So like here's, I bet we can find a better one. Because this will probably have pictures, yeah. So resizing in Preview on a Mac. And I know Preview, and I'll bet good money Paint can also do things like rotation and cropping. So if if you've got a picture that's rotated the wrong way, you could rotate it in Preview or Paint and then use the rotated version. Or if you only want a little part of an image, you could, I mean, we've seen how to crop pieces out of images in Jest, but you could also crop a piece out of an image using Paint or Preview. Or, you know, and if you have Photoshop or Lightroom or Luminar or whatever, I mean, there's a million photo editing programs out there. You can certainly do that. You can do all these things there. In fact, most phones come with a reasonable image editing system on the phone itself. And, you know, you could certainly do that also if you wanted to. So, but like I said, if you stick under like 1,000 pixels in the long dimension, then Jest is likely to behave better. And if you have a slower computer, you might want to be more like under 600 pixels in the long dimension. It kind of depends on how much patience you have and you know, what your resources are, but that would maybe help a little bit. So questions about any of that? Okay, let me. Then I also wanted to talk about how to actually put together the all the stuff you've got to turn in, because I think people often find that kind of confusing. So I'm going to share Canvas so we can see what's written there, and then we'll look at like how to actually do that. So the intention here is that you're going to create a zip file or some archive file that will contain all of the working stuff for your assignment. One of the things that's tricky with the image collage is that you have to turn in multiple things, right? You have to turn in your Python code, but you also have to turn in all of your images. And we want them all to be in the same place relative to each other so that we can run your program and it will work. If we have to kind of figure out where things were on your computer by kind of reading the program and guessing stuff, it makes going through this really, really slow. And so the intent is that you give us a zip file that has the whole world together in the right place so that we can open that up and then just go in there and run your program and it will all work. That's the goal, okay? So we need to talk about how we make that happen. So the idea is that we should be able to open that zip file up, set the media path to that folder, open your collage.py file in Jest, load your code, run it by typing show montage in the command area, and that we would then see your picture. And so I'll walk through doing that for the collage that I shared on Canvas that I made with my instructions, and we'll see how to like assemble all that stuff, okay? So do we have questions about like the intent before we talk about the how do we actually make it work? Coolio. Oh, and there's stuff down here in the rubric about all of that as well, but I'm not going to like wade through that. I think this sort of gives you a pretty good sense of how to reverse of, you know, what's intended to reverse engineer things. So I'm going to share my my Finder. Now, this will look a little different if you have a Windows box, but not a lot. Oh, I guess I need to actually have a Finder window that will be in the right place. Momentary pause while I get where I need to be. Hello. Oh no, not there. Sorry. There we go. Okay. So yeah, that'll be good. Let's share that. Share. Bingo. Share. Okay, so here's a folder that basically just has all my crippy crap from this class on this computer. So I've got a folder called My Images that just has a bunch of my pictures in it. I have media sources for ED. That's the collection of the media that you get with the book. So turtles and sheep and stuff like that. And then I've got a whole bunch of Python files. A lot of these I've posted as examples. Some are just things that I was working with. But this example collage.py, this is the file that I used to make the collage that's shared in class. So I'm going to, and it's here, and some of the pictures are in here. So the original dog stool pictures in here, and the fallen tree pictures in here, and the Japanese gate pictures in here, and oh, Park Avenue is in here. So all these pictures are in this folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new folder. And I'm going to say, I'm going to call it McPhee Collage, because that'll be helpful when because if we're looking at a bunch of these files, knowing kind of which person this is attached to is helpful. And I'm now going to copy a bunch of stuff into that. So basically, I'm going to put everything in there that I need to solve this problem. I don't need to put any of the extra stuff, but I want to put everything in there to solve this problem. So I'm going to put my Python file in there, drag that in there. And, whoa, that was weird. And then I'm going to open up Make Images, and, oh, I really need two folders here, don't I? Next to each other, or this is going to be kind of a pain. Okay. I'm going to share, well, actually, I'm just going to cheat and make another folder that you can't see, because that's going to be simpler than attempting to share and reshare. But all I'm doing is sharing, copying the relevant pictures. So dog stool, fallen tree, Japanese gate, and Park Ave smaller. I'm going to copy all of those into this folder. Okay, so now I have my Python, and I have those 4 pictures. And I've got them all in a folder together. So those are my 4 pictures that I'm starting with, and my Python code together in one folder. Are we cool with that? Are there questions there? Going. Now, if we look at the Canvas assignment, it says that the file is supposed to be called collage.py. Mine is called example collage.py. So I'm going to fix that. So it's called the right thing. Okay. Now, I think I have everything together. I'm going to open my collage file in Jess and make sure everything works in this folder. And if it does, then we'll zip it up, and that would be what I would turn in. Okay. So let me go over to Jess land, and let me share my Jess. I'm going to say file open program, And I'm going to go to McPhee collage, and I'll open collage.py. Okay, so here's my thing. And this is exactly the same code we went over earlier. And the key piece from your perspective, in terms of like the finished product, which I think was a number of the questions, is your assembled collage almost certainly starts with a set media path. Oh, actually, I take that back. We should not have set media path in assemble collage, because it says here that the TA will call set media path first and then open your collage file and load your code. So in fact, we should not have set media path in here. That's something the TA will do. Okay, fine. But then the TA's done that, so we could do that down here, set media path, and we need to say that it is McPhee collage, choose. Now then, oh, and this needs to say get media path. I don't have that in here, get media path. This makes sure that it's looking in the media path, oops, folder. So I'm gonna have to tack that on all of these. Close paren, close paren. Oh, and one more. Close paren and oops, So these will open my 4 pictures by going to whatever the media path is, and then inside that folder, finding Japanese gate or whatever. Oh, and this should just be dogs. Oh, this is actually an old version. I didn't notice that. I mean, sorry, momentary pause. Well, I see is the, this is collage. Oh, there were, I did a dumb thing and I called one thing. Yeah. This is the wrong file. I copied the wrong file. So let me copy the right file, and then we will fix this. So I'm gonna copy this over, and you can't see what's happening right now, but there we go. I'm gonna close that so I don't confuse things. No, I don't want to save that. I want to delete this, trash. My apologies for the confusion. Now we will open again. Collage PY. Okay, this looks better. And this is, yeah, this is more correct. Huh, okay. I thought I'd lost my mind, but this is, I was looking at an older version that I had not made match the requirements yet. So I was dumb, so bad me. The disadvantage is of poorly naming things and not cleaning up after yourself. So here we'll load the 4 pictures. Notice I've got get media path. Notice I don't have a set media path here. And this assumes that set media path was called before we called montage. So this is actually the right version. This is the version that's posted on Canvas, not the other version we were just looking at. So you ought to be able to use this as a model for how to assemble the montage function. So you're probably going to open your 4 pictures. You're going to manipulate them if you need to manipulate them. This is also a manipulation here. And then you're going to assemble the collage. So here I created an empty canvas, and then I started copying things onto that empty canvas in particular positions. And then I return the canvas when I'm done. And I'm guessing that something about this return canvas is related to the problem that Dongting and Zeke were having. I don't know for sure about that, but that's my guess, is that there's something about the return that's not happening correctly. So we can come back to that. So I ought to be able to set media path, which I did, and then I ought to be able to say show montage. Oh, I've got to load the program, duh. Show montage, and it failed. And that's because this uses the name sepia tree. And if we pop back over to my Finder image, in this picture, it's called fallen. Over here, it's called fallen tree. So somehow I've got the name wrong. So I need to change this to fallen underscore tree. Oh, I'm sorry, I need to change the sharing back. Fallen underscore tree. And now let's try loading again, and let's try running it again. And if it, if it's doing a lot of manipulating and stuff, it can take a while. It didn't like sepia because I called that tree now, and obviously this is a copy paste problem where I had used, at one point I'd called this sepia, and then I changed it to be tree, and I obviously didn't fix it here. So we gotta change that to tree, and there might be other places. Let's make sure. No, that's called tree there. So I think maybe the rest of it's good. Load the program again. Show montage. Do-do-do, 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 do-do-do. And it's doing its thing. Hey, and now it worked. So we got our montage picture. Huzzah. So now I know it all works, right? That's the important thing, is I know that calling show montage on this code in this place will do the right thing, so that when the grader calls show montage in this folder on this code, it ought to build the montage, and the grader shouldn't have to do any like futzing around to figure out where everything is, okay? So that was a lot, and we haven't even talked about like making it into a single thing yet. Are there questions about that? Like getting the right things in a folder so that it works the way that it's supposed to for the grader? There's a lot to talk about, so ask questions, please. Save me.
So you just want us to submit a folder with all of the pictures in the file that runs the program?
Yeah, so I'll show you in a second making a zip file of this, but you'll submit a zip file that contains a folder that contains the pictures and the Python jest file.
Okay. And one more question. Do you
Sure.
mind uploading the lecture from Wednesday? That really helped a lot with understanding of the whole process for me.
Absolutely. I think, yes, I'll do that right after class.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Unfortunately, it's sort of a multi-step process, and each step takes a while, and then I forget. I'll start something because it might take half an hour or more for that step to finish, and then I'll walk off and do something else, and then I'll forget that I left that hanging. So my bad. I will absolutely get to that when class is over. I'll try to get this lecture up as quickly as possible today as well, because that would almost certainly be helpful as well. So thank you. Good question. Let me actually make a note. Get Wednesday and Friday's lectures up. Get Wednesday and Friday lecture videos posted. Thank you for reminding me. Other questions? Going? Okay. So now I'm going to close this and I'm going to go back to sharing this. Okay, here we are at our folder. We got everything working. It's all just beautiful. We can start up Jess. We can run show montage. Oh, we can do set media path. We can run show montage, and we get our beautiful, remarkable, amazing collage that we're so proud of. Okay. Now, what do we turn in? How do we turn something in? So if I back up one, so here's my folder that has all the stuff in it. Okay. On a Mac, and this is, again, I'm not entirely sure what this looks like on a Windows box, but I think it's pretty similar. So on a Mac, if you right click, now can you see this menu that popped up? Is that visible? Yeah, okay. One of the options here is compress McPhee collage. Okay. And there'll be something similar on Windows. I don't know what it's called. It might say zip in it. It might say archive. If somebody can have a quick look on a Windows box and tell me what it says, that would be awesome. But I think if you right click on a folder, you get some option in Windows that's similar to this.
Yeah, there's a thing that says send to.
Okay.
And then you can choose compressed zip folder.
Bingo. Full marks to Zeke. So yes, that rings a bell now. So send to, and it'll be like this share thing, and there'll be that probably is below the window, so you probably can't see it. But there'll be a little sub menu, and one of the options is to send it to send it to a zip file, and then it will create a zip file with the contents of that folder. So if I do that here, compress McPhee collage, then it makes a file that's mcpheecollage.zip. This one file contains all the stuff that was in that folder. So it'll have my Python code, it'll have my, and all my images, and they'll all be in there. I can then turn that in. That's the file that I turn in on Canvas. And that one file will have everything in it. The TA will be able to grab that file, open it up, call set media path, and run your code. Okay? Does that make sense? Questions? Would it be useful to see me actually submit this on Canvas so you can see what that looks like? Questions? Anybody? Or does we know how to submit files and we're good? Anybody? I'm going to take yawning silence to mean that everybody's cool with that, and we'll just call it a win. Okay, so that's what you have to do to submit the assignment. And that's sort of what I have to say on that, unless there are other questions on that issue. Not hearing any. Then there were several people that had some what I think are related issues in displaying the pictures. So I don't know if either Dongting or Zeke wanted to share your Jess, we could see if we could try to debug the problem that you were having. If you
I
would
figured
love-
mine out. It was just that I wasn't calling show montage.
Okay. Dongting, do you still have an issue that you would like a hand with?
I'm now trying to solve these problems by another way, so maybe
Okay.
it's
Maybe
cool.
that's not an issue anymore.
Yeah.
Juan, you had a question about copying part of an image from one image into another image. Is that still an issue, and would you like some help with that?
I can show.
That'd be great. Thank you.
How can I?
So there should be a green share screen button at the bottom of the Zoom window. And if you click that, you should get like a display of all the windows you have open. And if you click on the window that's showing Jess, it should share the Jess with all of us.
Yes. Okay. I'm allow my computer to do so. It seems that
it's a security setting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, that's awesome. So you were having problems. What were the problems, and how can we help?
So I think it is because my picture size is too big.
Yes.
And maybe I should first reduce the picture size, and then I should change the value here.
Yes.
But I haven't tried it yet.
So
still,
looking at the control area down at the bottom, you're getting this error saying Java heap space, a Python out of memory happened while running your program, so it stopped. That is because your pictures are too big. You don't have enough memory your system isn't allocating enough memory to the Python process for you to be able to handle a picture that large. And there are some kind of wacky ways we could try to increase the amount of memory, but it probably makes more sense to just make your pictures smaller, actually. So I think you're right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No.
I want to ask that is this visible, because I didn't use the code you provide.
Right.
I think I can just use the number to how do you say that?
To say where you want the picture to be.
Yes.
Yeah, you can do that. You could just put numbers there. That would be totally fine.
Oh, okay. I think
those are big numbers, which is probably why you're running out of memory, but you can totally just put numbers there. That would be fine.
Okay, I got it.
So yeah, so if you get one of these out of memory errors, it's probably because you've got really big pictures. And they started writing Jess in the early 2000s when like 800 by 600 was considered a pretty good sized image. And smartphones with cameras on them didn't even exist in large numbers yet. And so I remember my first cell phone that had a camera in it. I think it took 300 by 400 images. I mean, they were tiny and terrible quality. And so, and that would have been around the early days of Jess. So Jess was kind of built for an earlier universe and doesn't really work super well if you throw it big high-res images from your nifty super new camera or phone or whatever you're using. So other questions? There had been some general questions. I don't have a person to point at. about copying parts of an image to another part of an image. Is anybody still having issues with that and wants to talk about that? Or do people feel like you're doing okay with that at this point? Anybody? So we've got 20 minutes. Actually, what I think I would encourage folks to do is work on your collage. We can treat the next 20 minutes as sort of office hours. And if you've got a question, let me know. And you and I can sort of step out into a breakout room and you can show me what's going on. And then I can hop back here when we think we've got things resolved. But I think like having this as time for you to work on stuff would probably make a lot of sense. So go for it. And I am here to help. And definitely let me know if you've got questions. Don't just like sit quietly and suffer. There is no value in sitting quietly and suffering. And you can also send to ask a question or say something in chat if that would be useful. Let's see. So somebody's asked me to hop into the room. There's actually a bazillion rooms left over from a previous event. So you're all about to be invited to go to rooms. You can ignore that. You do not have to go to those rooms. But there's a Q&A room, and that's where I'm going to go with a student. And I'll answer a question there, and I'll pop back here when I'm ready. So and I want to join that room.
Professor Nick, I want to ask a question.
Muted. That's a cool picture, Zeke. How did you do that?
So I first took a negative of one photo, and then I edge detected the top photo, and then chroma keyed the top photo onto the bottom photo, and then I set the background to black.
Dude, that is rocking. I like that a lot. So, yeah, Juan, do you want to ask the question here or do you want to hop into a breakout room quick?
Breakout room, maybe.
Okay, let's do that. Let me find you. There you are. Move to Q&A room. So you should have just been moved to the Q&A room, and I will join you there.
Okay.
So either Jaden or Dongting have any questions, or should we wrap this up? Dongting's good. Jaden, you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Okay. Then I'm going to close this down so I can get this video posted as well. And if you've got any questions, let me know. I'll talk to you later.
Uh,
Go for it. Yeah.
um, Nick, I want to make sure the deadline of this image college gallery is extended or not.
Well, so that's a great question. We didn't actually talk. We've already extended it a full week. And nobody actually asked for it to be extended today.
Oh.
I mean, do you feel like it should be extended to?
Oh no, I just like hear the like something is extended to Wednesday in the like in the main session of this class. Maybe I just heard it wrong.
I don't know. I mean, I've got it. I still have it due tonight at 10 p.m.
Okay.
And if, people want to argue with that, I mean, we can certainly discuss it, but nobody brought it up. So I'm sort of hoping people can finish this thing because I'd
Okay,
like to be able to move on to the next part.
Yeah, I just want to double check it.
Okay.
Okay.
So anything else I can help with?
No, that's fine, I think.
Cool. I will see you later.
See you.